For more on all this, let's bring in Wyoming Senator John Barrasso. He's a member of the Foreign Relations Committee. Senator, this clearly was a targeted attack. I mean, they knew who they wanted to get, and they got him. Plus, they got his deputy, by the way. So they've lost a whole cohort of bad actors there. And we know in order to do such a targeted hit, you have to have the best intel imaginable. It shows once again, what the heck are we doing, trying to micromanage their war when nobody knows better about what's going on in the Middle East than the Israeli intel does, right?
Well, I think that's absolutely right. But what we see here today is Iran is the world's #1 state sponsor of terrorism. You see it with the Houthis, with Hamas, with Hezbollah, and they continue to fund and train and arm all of those. So when we have a weakened Joe Biden in the White House, what we're seeing is increased activity around the world of bad actors, and the world is a much more dangerous place. After what we saw on October 7th with the attacks on Israel by Hamas, and I talked to Prime Minister Netanyahu just a week or so ago, I'm going to continue to stand with the people of Israel as they try to do everything they need to do to eliminate Hamas.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question you may not be able to answer, you may not know the answer, but I'd like your opinion on it. Do you think that the Israelis told Biden officials before the attack happened?
I don't know the answer to that. What we do know is there's a very strained relationship right now between the president and the prime minister, and I expect that to continue as the prime minister does what he needs to do to protect the people of Israel against future attacks from Hamas.
Now, we have to remember that it wasn't too long ago when our Iranian envoy lost his job because he apparently mishandled some intel information that may have passed into Iranian hands for all we know. We don't know for sure. He, by the way, is teaching in Yale University, training the next contingent of foreign service officers, which is a problem in itself. But I mean, that must have sent shivers through the intel agencies of Israel, the fact that this guy might have been mishandling information that could have helped Israel's enemies.
Well, that has, and certainly it did shed those similar shivers through the Foreign Relations Committee in the United States Senate, specifically on the Republican side of the aisle, because of the concerns we have of the efforts to this administration in some ways cozying up to Hamas when they shouldn't be doing that at all as a result of the president's concern about his own reelection efforts in this country and the outcry of people on the far left wing of the Democrat Party who are continuing to be anti-Israel and anti-Semitic.
All right. Let me move on to some domestic issues here, because we got you for a good bit of time. Biden's war on fossil fuels, it just continues despite all the fact that their mandates are for impossible to reach goals. I know sometimes it's good to make goals beyond your reach, but in this case, it's putting a lot of people out of business. The latest, they put this out on Good Friday, knowing it would be buried by the weekend, but the EPA issuing a mandate to truckers on their emission standards that would essentially do deep damage to the trucking industry. In fact, they came out with a statement. I'm going to read it to you. ATA, that's the American Truckers Association, opposes this rule in its current form because the post-2030 targets remain entirely unachievable given the current state of zero-emission technology. So do you think that these new standards are unachievable?
Yeah, once again, Joe Biden's actions are slitting the throat of the American economy and at the same time playing right into the hands of China. Look, I thought it was bad enough when they put all these mandates trying to get all of us to buy electric cars. Well, Good Friday, as you mentioned, they've come out with mandates on electric trucks as well, even less achievable, more expensive. It's delusional. This is in their effort to eliminate gas-powered automobiles and trucks in America. Look, people don't want to buy these vehicles. They can't afford these vehicles. And certainly here in Wyoming, where we drive under severe weather conditions and great distances, they're not at all practical here. The cost that this is going to put, David, on consumers who have to buy the products that are more expensive to ship. All of those things are going to hurt consumers. And where do the batteries come from? China. Once again, playing right into the hands of China.
And you know, it's not just these big trucking companies. People would say, oh, they can eat the costs of big corporations. 60% they want by 2032. That's only 8 years from now. They want 60% of urban delivery trucks. Many of those belong to mom and pop companies, not these big corporations. 60% of those trucks they want to be electric in just 8 years. I mean, I'm sorry, that seems like an impossible goal, and I mean, it's crazy to have a goal that can't be reached, but it just shows how detached they are from reality.
And detached under this, this is economic suicide in the name of climate science. And to show you how detached they are, to your point, David, so the EPA made this announcement about how much carbon will be avoided going into the atmosphere, and it's going to take 30 years to avoid a certain amount of carbon. Well, it's the same exact amount that China and India put into the atmosphere, added to their carbon footprint in last year alone. So they're going to penalize the trucking industry, penalize the drivers, penalize the consumers to accomplish in 30 years what China and India are adding in climate to the atmosphere in 1 year alone. This
and by
is
the
how
way, they're
wrong-headed this administration is.
They're also penalizing our electrical grids. There's this statistic that came out by 2030. EV trucks, just EV trucks alone, if they reach their mandates, will consume 11% of California's electricity. That is to say, over 10% of our electricity will be devoted just to these truck EVs. That doesn't leave us enough for the other stuff, like our heating in winter, et cetera.
But when you do the math on any of this, just one of these truck charging stations would use the amount of electricity of a city. Wow. So you just don't have the electricity. Yeah. We don't have the power to do it. And they're shutting down coal-fired power plants, natural gas-fired power plants. They're shutting those down, and there just aren't enough wind turbines or solar panels in the world to make up for the energy that this administration is shutting down, really undermining our energy security. The Biden administration told the EPA, focus on climate and prioritize that over energy that is available, affordable, or reliable.
Yeah, and relatively clean, by the way. The natural gas has cleaned the air over the past 10 years remarkably. By the way, you mentioned China. This is something I didn't really know much about, but the Department of Energy, under its tutelage of Jennifer Granholm, the secretary there, has these cooperation deals with the Chinese government on AI research. Really? I mean, AI, the Chinese have been stealing our technology and our ideas and all of our innovations for years, and yet we want to give them kind of a leg up in their research on AI. What is that about?
Yeah, the Biden administration is much too cozy with the people of China and thus the Chinese Communist Party. We are doing world-class research. We need to do that on energy with artificial intelligence. But China's trying to steal it, and it seems to me that the Secretary of Energy is making it easier for them to do it. China's always wanted to steal our trade secrets. That's nothing new. We don't need to make it easy for them to do it. The head of the FBI has come out and said, hey, what China is trying to do can undermine our economic security, our national security. It's just wrong. So we need to stop this arrangement that the administration has. And the Inspector General of the Department of Energy even came to the Senate and said that she doesn't have the resources that she needs to do the oversight that is necessary to watch all of this activity that is happening with the Department of Energy. The Inspector General needs to be over to have full oversight.
Well, after the pandemic and the lab problem, this is another lab, AI labs. I mean, we should have learned our lesson by now. One final thing there, give me a wrap, but we're not producing as much oil as we used to. The administration was bragging a couple of months ago saying, yes, it's going up. Well, domestic oil production was going up, but get this, these are the latest numbers that have come out. In December, we produced 13.3 million barrels a day. In January, we're producing 800,000 barrels a day less, 12.5 million. What is happening there? I mean, we're going in the wrong direction.
This administration from day one has been on a war, a declared war against American energy. They want Iran to produce more energy. They're okay when they sell that oil. They're for Saudi Arabia. They were even for Russia at a point, but they're against American energy. It's a war on American energy production. It's a result of this administration's religion of climate, and it's bad for our economy. You know, we can protect our environment without hurting our economy. Joe Biden still hasn't learned that lesson.
Well, I remember when Jennifer Granholm, our energy secretary, was asked how much oil is consumed by America in a day or a week or a month. She had no answer. She couldn't. So, I mean, they have these goals that are unrelated to how much energy we really need. And if we're producing less oil, that much less oil, if that trend continues down, that's very bothersome and concerning for all Americans.
These are good jobs for American workers. We do it better than any place else in the world. Here in Wyoming, we're America's energy breadbasket. We have a great respect for the environment. It's the most beautiful place in the world. Please come visit. You'll see what respect we have for our environment and for our workers.
Yeah, nobody cares about the environment more than the people that live in the environment, as beautiful as Jackson Hole and other places are. Senator, great to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. Happy Easter to you.